Hey guys, welcome back. I'm the Swamper, and this is my top 10 favorite Pokemon. Let's dive right in. At number 10, we have the boss from Generation 1. This guy, everyone had a Nidoking in Generation 1. He's awesome. His design is just so awesome. He's purple, spikes coming out everywhere, his giant tail. He has that look of power to him. He completely wrecked everything in first generation. Everyone I knew had a Nidoking. I mean, I grew up in Pokemon Blue, and he was by far one of my favorite Pokemon from first generation. And he still is one in my top 10, as he is number 10 right now. His move pool is extremely diverse. He can learn anywhere from ice types to electric types to ground types to fighting types to rock types to poison types. Basically, there's a ton of types he can learn. He's just extremely awesome. At number 9, we have a bit of a newcomer into the games of Pokemon. We have Hawlucha. This is the Hawk Pokemon, or a Hawk, the wrestling Hawk Pokemon. And what you're looking at right now is his shiny sprite. Usually he's white, red, and green. So that gives you a little look, but this was some of the coolest art I could find for him. His typing is rather unique. It's a flying fighting type, which is an awesome type, and he's the only Pokemon that can learn Flying Press, which is a dual type move. It's a both flying and fighting type, so it's super effective against things like Bug, while still being effective against things like normal type. So, which is super awesome. It has its weaknesses too. It's weak to rock. It's also weak to electric, ice. Having that flying typing definitely hinders it, but it can also learn a ton of awesome moves like Flying Press and Aerial Ace and just Roost, which is one of his biggest things. I've had several Hawlucha sweeps, which are fun, just set up with a little Smeargle and Ninjask, and then use Baton Pass out to Hawlucha. There you go. Almost an automatic sweep. He can learn bug type moves like X Scissor and different things like that. Let's move on to number 8. At number 8, we have Blaziken. This is the another fighting bird or chicken. It's based off of a chicken, actually, which I think is kind of funny. His design is awesome. He's just a firefighting type. He was the first firefighting type. Sorry, Emboar and Infernape. I like Blaziken better. If you know me, I'm a big third generation guy. I knew I grew up with Pokemon Blue, but Pokemon Sapphire and Emerald I really got started into it. I used Blaziken in my first playthrough through Emerald. He was awesome. And you'll see at least one other Pokemon from that playthrough in this list, but Blaziken is just awesome. He has one of my favorite typings, firefighting, and he has one of my favorite moves, Blaze Kick. It's just awesome. He can learn Sky Uppercut, Blaze Kick, Extreme Speed, all of these cool moves. And let's move on to number 7. Number 7, we have the 4th generation Magnezone. Evolves from Magneton, and he's an electric steel type. I just love this guy. He has really good defense, really good special defense, and really good special attack. He has a really nice move set. I like Thunder, like Gyro Ball, things like that. He's really bulky, and I just like his design. I used him in Pokemon Platinum when I was doing my initial run through of that. He was awesome. And let's just move on to number 6. Number 6, we have Espeon, the only Pokemon on this list from 2nd generation. The psychic evolution of Eevee. If you get its happiness up fully during the day and you evolve it, then it evolves into Espeon. I love its ability. Bounce, or it's not, I don't know what the ability is called, but it bounces back things like rocks. It's good for competitive battling if you want to troll someone. It can learn awesome moves like Psychic, Psybeam, and it just has a very high special attack. It's a great Pokemon overall, and I just love it. In number 5 place, we have Empoleon. This is the unique water steel starter from Gen 4. I used him in my Pokemon Platinum run through as well as Magnezone and things like Houndoom and Dusclops, both of which are in honorable mentions of this list, but we'll get into that later. Empoleon is just awesome. I love Empoleon. I love his design. He's a king penguin. I mean, that steel typing, sure, it also adds weaknesses, but it gets rid of them too. I think it only adds one weakness, and that is fighting, but it also gets rid of the weakness of grass, because grass is not very good against steel. He still has that weakness to electric, but I just love Empoleon. In number 4 this week, we have the Firebug from Generation 5, Volcarona. This is the only Firebug type, or I think it's the only Firebug type there is in the entire series. It's the only one from 5th Gen on this list. 5th Generation wasn't my favorite generation out of all of them. In fact, it's probably my least favorite generation out of all of them. But I did love some of the Pokemon, such as Volcarona, Chandelure, Galvantula, all of those. I love Volcarona. Quiverdance with Heat Wave and all this other stuff. He's just an awesome Pokemon. His special attack is hugely high. He can learn Hurricane, all of these great moves. My only downside to that is that he evolves from Larvesta at level 59. That's one of the latest evolutions there is. But it's totally worth it. He's totally awesome. It just takes forever to level up Larvesta, and that's the only downside of him. Now, before we move into the top 3, I want to name some honorable mentions. Like I said, I'm not a big 5th Gen person, but I love some of the Pokemon from it. Some of the honorable mentions from there are Hydreigon. He didn't quite make it on this list. He almost did. He almost made it up to like number 10 or something. His typing, Dark Dragon, is just awesome. Another honorable mention is Chandelure and Galvantula, both of which are awesome Pokemon from Generation 5. Some other of my favorites include Azumarill. I used him in my Pokemon Emerald initial playthrough. Just adding that fairy typing in 6th Generation was awesome. He learns Belly Drum, that mixed with Play Rough. You have an entire sweep right there. And then those are some of the honorable mentions. Another one is Alakazam, one of the best psychic types in my opinion. I still think Espeon's better, but stat-wise, Alakazam is better. Okay, let's move into the top 3. In number 3, we have Gengar. Gengar is a poison ghost type from Gen 1. This is the only other Gen 1 Gen 1 Pokemon on this list. He is awesome. What can I say? Gengar, that was the way to beat the Psychic Gym in whatever it was, Goldenrod City, I thought it was. I don't know. The Psychic Gym in Kanto, the 1st Gen. The only really way to beat it was to get a Gengar, or a Haunter at least, and you did that by going to Lavender Town, catching Ghastly, and raising it up, trading with friends, and then getting a Gengar. And even then, with its poison typing, that hindered it because psychic moves were still super effective on it. And I'm sorry, I know some of you guys are probably going to comment spelling, you spelled Gengar wrong. Well, I'm sorry, that was a little typo, and it's Gengar. I did that, I'm pointing that out right now. But his typing is just awesome. His move pool is extremely diverse. He can learn things like Energy Ball, to Thunderbolt, to Ice Beam, to Psychic, to all sorts of these awesome moves. And let's just move on. Number 2, we have Salamence. I know this is one of the weakest pseudo-legendaries, but it is by far my favorite pseudo-legendary. In Pokemon Emerald, when I was a little kid, I remember playing through, and I looked in the official guidebook for Emerald, and I saw this awesome dragon, and I'm like, I need that. That's an awesome type. And you couldn't beat it until after you beat the 8th gym, so you had to use Waterfall in Mount Moon. No, not Mount Moon. That cave with like the Soul Rocks and Lunatones and things. You went up the waterfall, and there's this one small room, like little small, like I don't know, 10 by 20 steps maybe, where you can catch bagons. And my first bagon I ever caught, it was an Adamant Nature bagon, female, and I remember training that up, and that was one of my first level 100s. Gengar was too. I forgot to talk about Gengar being one of my first level 100s, but Salamence, personally, I like his design better than Dragonite. If Salamence wasn't on this list, Dragonite would be on it. But I don't know. I never really grew up with Dragonite. I never really liked him that much. I mean, he's a great Pokemon. I like him now. But even though Salamence is the weakest pseudo-legend, I still think he's the best, in my opinion. And number one, if you guys did not see this coming from my name, then, I don't know, it's Swampert. This guy was my first level 100. I used him in Sapphire, my Pokemon Sapphire, which was the first game that I really got big in. And my Swampert could, like, wreck the entire Elite Four. In Muddy Water, Earthquake, Surf, and Ice Beam, I think. Yeah. Very high special attack. This guy was a monster. He was awesome. He's by far one of my favorite Pokemon, just due to nostalgia. I chose Mudkip because I thought he was cute, and then he evolved in Marshtomp, and I'm just like, what is this Pokemon? Marshtomp's kind of like that awkward teenager in between. I mean, I love Mudkip, I love Swampert, but I absolutely hate Marshtomp, so that was painful to go through. But once he evolves into the big badass Swampert, he's completely awesome, and I just love his shiny sprite. Just look at that. His shiny sprite is pink, and his regular sprite is just regular blue. I love both of them, and that's why Swampert is number one on this list. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, maybe subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.